And we back. It's Saturday, which means that we have a new one from every team video. And I went out to Twitter and asked, what do you want to see next? And Xavier said he wants to see me give one piece of advice to all 30 NBA teams. So today we got that. Let's get into the first one. Be aggressive on the buyout market again. Last year they got Ersan Ilyasova and Marco Bellinelli, and both players played a huge part in their playoff run. And this year, after losing those two guys, they don't have that much shooting on their secondary unit. I feel like the buyout market would be the perfect time again to get some more shooters to add to that team. Play Thon Maker more. There's periods of time in the playoffs this season where he was the spark that got the Milwaukee Bucks over the hump. I was at a game, I think it was game 3 or game 4 in Milwaukee, and everything, the whole momentum changed once Thon Maker got onto the court because he made like 2 big blocks. He had a dunk. He just brings this sort of energy that I think that team needs. So I want him to play more. I know they just brought in Brook Lopez, but 15 minutes a game for Thon Maker is not enough. Get that energy and play him more. Do some defensive slides in practice. I believe this is going to be one of the worst defensive teams in the league, and I'm okay with that, but just like we need our guys to buy into the defense because this is our young core. Lowry's going to be a piece for us in the future. Zach LaVine after the contract. These are going to be guys that are going to be part of our teams, not just for 1 year, 2 years, but years for the future. And if we want to build a future championship team, we got to play some defense. So let's start to get them there now. Maybe move on from Tyronn Lue. When David Blatt was hired to be the coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers, it was because they needed a coach to help develop their young talent. And eventually LeBron came back and they're like, you know what? We don't need a player development coach. We need a coach that'll help us win now. So they went out to get Tyronn Lue. Well, now the Cleveland Cavaliers are in a situation where even though they say they want to win now, we can look at their roster and say that they're not going to win now. Could they make the playoffs? Sure, they could. But they're not a championship caliber team anymore. So maybe getting rid of Tyronn Lue, bringing in a coach that's going to help the young guys that they do have. So they do have a few with Shetty Osman, Ante Zizic, Colin Sexton, or even like Rodney Hood, who's still on the roster officially, are younger guys that can benefit from a coach that is more development more than less win now. So when I do these one from every team videos, I write a script because obviously there are certain things that I have to say. If I miss this point, then the whole video's messed up. I've been sitting here for a while trying to figure out a term or some advice for the Celtics, and I can't. Looking at advanced stats, everything possible, I just legitimately don't have any advice for the Boston Celtics. That's how good they were last year, and you consider they'll probably be better next year with Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward coming back. I really don't have any advice. Don't let Shai Gilgeous-Alexander be your third string point guard. It's easy for them to do. You draft a young player, but this is a team that is still trying to compete. Maybe that young player doesn't necessarily help you do that, so let's stash him on the bench and maybe next year he'll get his minutes. Sometimes that can work, but when it comes to point guards, for me personally, especially point guards that are drafted in the lottery, they need that in-game experience to be better. The point guard position is a lot different than the other positions on the court. Players like Clint Capella can spend 2 years really not getting minutes, but in practice is getting better because he doesn't necessarily need that in-game experience. Point guards do. He needs to be on the court, even if he's not starting. Maybe he's a second string, but third string, you cannot let Milos Teodosic and Patrick Beverley be higher than him on the totem pole. Just let the guy get some minutes. Stay healthy. And I know that's kind of weird advice because you really can't control whether or not you accidentally tear an ACL or you break a finger or you get the flu. Like, you really don't control those things. But the Memphis Grizzlies over the past couple of years, I just feel like their star players have been in and out of the rotation so often because of injury. They need to be healthy. Honestly, I think this could be a team that can battle to maybe make the playoffs this year if Mike Conley and Marc Gasol can both stay healthy. Play Trae Young regardless. If Trae Young goes out there in the first month and shoots 30% from the field, which is terrible, still play him. The move that you made on draft night, you really bought into Trae Young, so let's do it. If Trae Young comes out and is bad his first couple months, for sure, you're going to get some criticism for the draft day trade, but you need to buy into your guys 100%. So let him play. Again, the point guard position is something that takes years to have developed, and a guy like him that's a high-volume shooter and stuff, it may take some time before Trae Young gets to the point where they want him to be, but the only way for him to get to that point is if you let him play through everything. This was a little bit weird because this is my opinion right now, but this can change throughout the course of the season. Right now, I'm going to say trade Hassan Whiteside. But from everything we've seen this offseason, it seems like he sat down with the front office. They had, I think they said, a 4-hour conversation. And now he personally feels good about the organization and everything. Good. But is he really right for your team? Whether he feels good or not, that's the big question. Does he really fit? You got a young center coming up in Bam Adebayo. Maybe you want to play him more. But the reason I say this may change is because I do think Hassan Whiteside is a good player. So if he somehow elevates his game this year, incorporating a better offensive firepower, then maybe you don't trade him. Maybe you continue to keep him. So that's why I'm saying that could change. But right now, I would say look out on the market, see what you can get. Please trade Kemba. That's more for the fans. The fans just want to see Kemba Walker in a place where he can be successful. I'm sorry, Charlotte Hornets fans, because every time we do a one from every team video, it just seems like somehow we crap on your team. But realistically, the front office before this year has just been really questionable. I know they got new guys in there now, so maybe it gets a little bit better. But everything they've done leading to this point has really hurt their team, not just for right now, but for the future. Y'all got so much money wrapped up to players that aren't that good. So I would like Kemba to just be in a situation where he can be successful. I know he's a free agent this offseason, so maybe he'll just sit out, he'll play this season and go somewhere else. I just want Kemba in the better situation. Build on the momentum you got from last season. Going into last season, they were not projected to make the playoffs. They lose Gordon Hayward. They're like, this team is going to win like 40 games at the most. They win more. They make the playoffs. Not only do they make the playoffs, they get to the second round. And, they gave a little fight, but they got eliminated. They need to build on their momentum. Everybody from their squad is back, basically. At least everybody that really matters is back. And now you got big-time sports media places like buying into this team. Some of them have them as high as the second seed in the West next year. So you got to build on that momentum and just continue to play well. Continue to hit the restricted free agency. This year they offered Zach LaVine a contract. The Bulls matched it. But they were this close to having Zach LaVine in their team. I don't think Sacramento, that organization, is one that's going to bring in those big-name free agents. Yeah, they're going to have money, but they probably won't get Kevin Durant. They probably won't get the Kyrie Irvings of the league. The best thing they can do is continue to get those, or try to get those restricted free agents to sign that way to build on their nice young core. Let the young guys play. And I know they have a new coach this year, and maybe David Fizdale is going to let this happen. But last year, Jarrett Jack played more minutes than Frank Ntilikina. Not only did he play more minutes, he played more minutes in a season that did not matter. The Knicks were not playing for anything. So why were they not playing their young players? I just hope David Fizdale realizes that with Kristaps being out for as long as he is, let Kevin Knox play, let Mitchell Robinson play, let Frank Ntilikina play, or any other young pieces they have. Just don't let him sit on the bench. I know Frank Ntilikina did not have an amazing rookie season, but he should have more minutes than Jarrett Jack. Please don't let this lineup hit the floor. Rondo, Lonzo, and LeBron. I better not see that team, those three players on the court at the same time. Sure, LeBron can make anything successful because it's LeBron, but those are three ball-dominant players on the same court at the same time. It could work with two. It could work with two. But all three, and then you consider that Lonzo Ball wasn't a good shooter last year. Rondo has never been a good shooter. And LeBron James, shooting can be iffy, depending on the year. Sometimes LeBron just want to shoot well. But it's like that lineup, I don't think that's going to bring any good things. So let's hold out on trying those three on the same court at the same time. Please, find a worthy point guard. I know they won't do this year, but maybe in the offseason they find that guy. Because DJ Augustine and Jaren Grant just not going to get the job done. I feel like Mo Bamba is one of those players that's going to need a really nice point guard, and he doesn't have that. Even if it's not really nice. Get him an average, a slightly above average point guard. I think he should be fine, but right now they ain't got that. Those two guys will not be good. Don't be so hell-bent on winning right now. Mark Cuban came out and said that he wanted to tank for 1 year, then he wanted to get right back into winning. He tanked this 1 year, and I don't think this roster is good enough to be winning right now. You know what I mean? So don't be so, just take your time. You got Dirk maybe retiring this offseason, DeAndre Jordan on a 1 year deal. Just relax, man, because I don't think this roster is good enough to win right now. Let Jared Allen play. The dude played 20 minutes a game last year. It's just not enough. I think he could be one of the better centers in his league. From the 20 minutes a game I saw of him, I was very, very impressed. He destroyed my boy Lowry. I won't forgive him from that personally, but he looked like a very good up-and-coming player, but he only played 20 minutes a game. Now, this offseason, they did make trades to kind of give him more freedom. Timofey Mozgov's not there anymore. The Zeller brother, I don't even know if the Zeller brother's still there, but they had so many big men on their squad. Quincy AC, just guys that were taking minutes away from him. And I hope that this year they're going to buy in completely, let him start, and let him play 28 minutes a game at least. Buy into some defense, all right? Last year, they were a bottom 5 defense, and that is one of the reasons they missed the playoffs. Paul Millsap did miss a lot of time, and he is their defensive guy. But if they play a little bit more defense, maybe they make the playoffs. Let Tyreke Evans play point guard. I've been saying this since they signed it. I think this signing is a huge W as long as Tyreke Evans plays point guard. That's his natural position. You can look at him and say, oh, he's 6'6", 6'7". That doesn't make him a small forward, guys. He is a point guard. Let him play point guard. Tyreke Evans, Victor Oladipo, Bogdanovich, Thad Young, and Miles Turner. Darren Collison off the bench would be perfect. Domantas Sabonis off their bench will be nice. Who else did they get? I mean, just that right there. Those 7 players are enough for them to be really competitive in this league. But I just really want Tyreke Evans to start at the point guard. Continue the fast-paced offense. They were the fastest paced offense in the league last year. And then after losing Rondo, some people are like, you know what? They can't be as fast because they don't have that floor general like they did. And though I may agree with that a little bit, I still think they have the pieces around them to be a fast offense. Julius Randle, he's one of those guys that'll give you a rebound on defensive rebound and just go. He'll just run straight. He's a bulldozer. He'll run straight and score the ball. I believe that Elfrid Payton can be a poor man's Rajon Rondo. So I don't think they should slow the offense down because they lost Boogie and because they lost Rajon Rondo. Continue to do your thing. Don't change the offense. Buy into Dwayne Casey. Stan Van Gundy, he didn't get it done the last couple years. That's fine. But now you got a coach, a willing coach, and a good coach. Just buy into anything he says because with the roster y'all have now, y'all going to need coaching to elevate y'all. Do whatever it takes to keep Kawhi Leonard. And I mean that. Anything. Don't let Melo ruin what you have now. You know, last year they tried to make Melo kind of a spot-up shooter in OKC. It didn't work out. Houston would probably have him playing that same role. You know what I mean? At least he'd be taking the place of Trevor Ariza and Bob Moute, and that's what they did. They sat in that corner and waited for James Harden or waited for Chris Paul to create that shot for them. So don't let Melo come into it and want to make isolation mid-range jumpers. That's not going to help your offense. Shoot more threes. LaMarcus Aldridge, DeMar DeRozan, DeJounte Murray. This don't really sound like a good three-point shooting team. Or not a team that'll take many of them. I would just say take a little bit more threes. I know Popovich is more of a traditional guy. But it's 2018 and the three-point ball is king. Get DeMar in that gym a little bit more. Have him attempting more threes. Let Devin Booker run your point guard position. I know they're going to try Brandon Knight. I don't know how good of an idea that is. We've seen Devin Booker be very, very successful as far as being the primary ball handler for his team. And I just think that with the roster they have now, they could put out so many different variations of lineups with like Devin Booker, Josh Jackson, Trevor Ariza, Dragan Bender, and DeAndre Ayton. But they have so many pieces off their bench that maybe it's not Dragan Bender. Maybe it's Marquise Chris. You know, but I think Devin Booker being a point guard would be great for their organization. Start Patrick Patterson. I know Jeremy Grant is the better player, but the lineup of Russell Westbrook, Andre Roberson, Paul George, Jeremy Grant, and Steven Adams ain't no shooting there. So if you take out Jeremy Grant and you add in Patrick Patterson, you got a little bit more shooting. I mean, Paul George is a good shooter, don't get me wrong. You got a little bit more shooting there, and that's going to open up the offense more for guys like Russell Westbrook and even Steven Adams dive into the paint. Because if you got Jeremy Grant out there, they don't really have to guard him at the three-point line. But Patrick Patterson, you definitely do. Give Karl Anthony Towns the ball more. I know some of y'all are not happy with what Karl Anthony Towns did in the playoffs, and I'm with you. But I can still definitely say he is an elite player in this league, and he should be fed the ball like that. Wiggins should not be taking more shots to him. I'm sorry. He's superior. He needs to take more shots. Just trade one of the guys. I'm so tired of seeing this team, you know, let's do it one more year. If y'all want to hit that next step, you may have to make that trade. Because y'all made a lot of bad offseason moves a couple years ago, and you ain't got money to sign a big name free agent to play alongside CJ and Damian. So in order to free up that space, you got to trade one of them two cats. It sucks because they're a very fun duo to watch, but realistically, they'll be better if they got rid of one of them. Don't let DeMarcus Cousins ruin your offense. I know DeMarcus Cousins is such a great NBA player for sure, but what the Warriors do offensively is so perfect. I don't think they should change it to incorporate him. I think he should buy into the offense and play a little bit differently. Somehow get John Wall and Dwight Howard to be best friends. You saw how good John Wall made Marcin Gortat look over the seasons, and they hated each other. So imagine how good John Wall could get Dwight Howard to look if they were just homies. You know? So get them to be best friends, and then you can stop with the Dwight Howard being a cancer thing. Because, I mean, if he's got friends in the locker room, he can't be a cancer, right? And that is all 30 teams. I guess 29 because we ain't really had nothing for the Celtics. But let me know in the comment section below what advice you would give your favorite team. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. We'll be back tomorrow. Peace.